body. Gonna bring it back. Oh, yes. Down goes Hernandez. A right, blistering right hand over the top by Brewer.
Omega Products International in Corona, California. Thompson Boxing presents 3-2-1 Boxing. 3 fun fights coming your way. We're in a pandemic, so trying to figure out how to get things going. Thompson Boxing is 21st year of business. The best club show in the country found a way. We continue to grow and evolve, and we include you, the fans. Thanks for joining us here this Sunday afternoon or evening, wherever you may be around the world. I'm Beto Duran, joined alongside Doug Fisher, the editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine, and Steve Kim, the founding member of the original broadcast, but he's back. We'll get to that pretty soon. We'll talk with Jessica Rosales also. Actually, we have more broadcasters than we do have fights, but the 3 fights are action-packed. And Doug, when you find a way to get going in a pandemic, you have to stay ready. And the main event should be a good one tonight.
Yeah, this main event was supposed to be the co-main event. Okay. And Richard Brewart is now stepping up into the main event. The original main event fell out. And he's testing himself once again against a fellow unbeaten prospect. Last time we saw him, I think he was in the fight of the night in a 2-round shootout that he won by knockout. But he had to pick himself up off the canvas. That was against a puncher. Tonight he's testing himself against a boxer.
And that'll be the main event. Also, we're going to go to Hawaii, Eva Beach. Arnold Dinong is going to be fighting a Japanese fighter who trains in Southern California and has a Spanish nickname. Then we also have a fighter, Knuckle Nelson, who's making his pro debut. And Steve, when we started doing these broadcasts a couple years ago, we were at the Doubletree in Ontario, had the nachos, fantastic nachos at Doubletree, we miss you. And it was a good energy, good vibe, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of fun. We interact with the fans, we get going. Now, pandemic shuts things down. We're inside a warehouse. Thompson Boxing has found a way to continue to stay in business and keep their fighters going.
Yeah, first of all, we are like the Blues Brothers. We brought the band back, okay? Now, but the other question is, what is going to happen to the state of the business? Well, most of the club programs across the country have really been relegated to farming out their fighters. Thompson Boxing, since summer, have created a situation where they can continue on with their program. And speaking to Ken Thompson earlier today, he says, bottom line is it's not easy, it's not convenient, it's not what we want. We have too many good fighters, and we have a program to run, so business must proceed.
And we are here for you, the fans. There are no fans allowed inside. And you guys think I'm kidding. This is Omega Products International. Normally, we'd be outside where our good friend Jim Boone would be showing up in the summer, having a great time. Brought it inside. Everybody has been tested. Everybody's passed their COVID protocol. Everybody's making sure everybody's safe. And you'll see 3 good fights coming your way. Share on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are. And every single comment that you leave, I'm going to read it, and I'm going to read it back. So if you're critiquing, I'm going to read it. We interact. This is the show for you, the fans. Have some fun with it. We know it's a Sunday afternoon. You're probably related, and you're probably having a good time right now. But we are here for you because you're going to see 3 good scraps. I can guarantee you that. Jessica Rosales, best in the business, is at our fancy stage. Though we have brand new lights. The lights got better. It's all shiny. It looks good. They put more money. And Jessica has more on tonight's card.
All right, guys, we are excited to be back in 2021. And of course, we do have several dates already on the calendar. So make sure that you guys are going to be marking those, because that means that there is going to be more 3-2-1 boxing, more Beto Duran, more Doug Fisher, more Steve Kim, and more Jasper Saltless. So we know that you guys want to join us for all of that. We also have Ken Thompson. He's going to be joining us a little later on in the show to tell us more about the dates that we already have planned for 2021. But let's talk about the fights tonight. Coming up in the main event, we do have Richard Brewart Jr., who is coming back in 2021 after an outstanding end to 2020 in our 3-2-1 boxing. Now, he said he learned a lot from his last fight. If you remember, of course, he had a hard time in that first round, was knocked down, and then came back to win by KO in the second round. His opponent, Nate Weston, says that he also learned a lot about Brewer in his last fight. He sparred with guys like Gennady Golovkin and Jaime Munguia, and says that if he was in the ring with Brewer and he heard him like that, he would not be getting up. So expect an all-out war in that main event. We got to also note that both of those guys have undefeated records. So even though they're both coming in here as undefeated fighters, we know that only one of them can keep that O. Now, in the co-main event, another pair of undefeated fighters. This one's going to also be exciting. We've got Arnold Dinong, who tells us he is more focused than he has ever been and has made some pretty big sacrifices, including moving from Hawaii to the Bay Area to really focus on his craft. Now, Katsuma Akitsugi, he tells us that he has been training non-stop since September, and Dinong could be his toughest opponent yet. But he also tells us that he's going to make tonight's fight a war and is going to force Dinong to clash with him in the ring. Now, that's going to be the super bantamweights in our co-feature for the night, scheduled for 6 rounds. Now, in just a few minutes, we are going to get the action started here, and we will have Mexico's Uriel Gonzalez against Nelson Oliva, who's going to be making his professional debut here on 3-2-1 Boxing. So before we get the action started, let's take a look back at yesterday's weigh-ins.
Now, entering the ring, in the red corner, Uriel Gonzalez. In the blue corner, Knuckle Nelson Oliva.
This kid has a following. Nelson Oliva grew up in the 818, now living in Fontana, California. Henry Ramirez in his corner, making his pro debut. Was scheduled 2 years ago. An injury set him back, and then last year, well, COVID set him back, and he is finally making his way for his pro debut. Knuckle Nelson is the nickname given to him by one of his friends. Shout out to the friend that hooked him up.
From the Omega Products International Event Center, Corona, California, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to another edition of 3-2-1 Boxing, proudly presented to you by Thompson Boxing Promotions. Tonight's bouts are being sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. Executive Officer is Andy Foster. These bouts are sponsored by Omega Products International, Belgard, Makita Tools, and Thompson Building Materials. We start the action with this bout set for 4 rounds in the middleweight division. Our judges scoring at ringside are Max DeLuca, Ray Corona, and Rudy Barragan. At the sound of the bell, the man in charge of the ring is referee Danny Sandoval. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the red corner. He enters wearing red with white and black trim on the scale. He weighed in at an official 157 3/4 pounds. In 12 pro bouts, he maintains a record of 5 victories against 6 losses, 1 bout even. All 5 of his victories coming by way of knockout. fighting out of San Luis Rio Colorado, Mexico, Uriel Gonzalez. Across the ring in the blue corner, wearing black with silver trim, his official weight, 155 1/2 pounds. Tonight, inside of the Thompson Boxing ring, he is making his professional debut, representing Fontana, California, Knuckle Nelson Oliva.
Okay. I gave you instructions in the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Touch them up. Let's go to war.
Daniel Sandoval will be our referee.
See how these middleweights stack up. Oliva's 2 years younger. Gonzalez has a very slight reach advantage, and he's 1 inch taller.
Knuckle Nelson making his pro debut in the black. Started boxing at the age of 12 because he was a chubbier kid. Left hand, southpaw stance, and according to Henry Ramirez, his trainer, he's very cerebral, but he also packs a punch. Probably one of the hardest punchers he has in his gym, and he's coming out strong right away, Steve. You said the right away.
Yeah, well, Beto, right off the bat in the first couple of seconds, there was a hard left hand right down the middle. Quite frankly, it looks like Gonzalez really has no clue for that left hand from the backhand of Knuckles Oliva.
Nelson Oliva. Less than a minute into the fight. See a strong frame on him. Dad Guatemalan, mom Salvadorian. Unloading is Oliva. Doesn't look like he's making his pro debut the way he's taking his time.
Yeah, he's very poised. He's not in a rush, even though he just scored a knockdown. And he's hurting Gonzalez with every shot, but he's taking his time.
Gonzalez under a barrage on the ropes. Should get out of there. He's holding on. Halfway through the first round, scheduled for 4. Thanks for. Here we go. Thanks for joining us on 3-2-1 Boxing. Our first fight of the year. And Doug, when you have a kid making his pro debut, you have to tell him to calm down. Oliva looks like he's calm.
Yeah, he's not in a rush. He's taking his time. He knows he's in command. He's already scored a knockdown. Probably on his way to scoring another knockdown in the final minute of this opening round. But he's not doing anything rash. Doesn't look like he's going to walk into any of those haymakers from Gonzalez, who has scored 5 knockouts in his 5 wins. So you know he does have to respect that of the Mexican tournament.
You can hear the thudding body shots here at Omega Products International, and that drops him for the second time in the round.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You ready?
Uriel Gonzalez in a world of trouble here in the opening round.
Box.
Final seconds of the first. Looking good is Knuckle Oliva. Nelson Oliva making his pro debut, gets through the first. End of the first round. This fight is brought to you by Thompson Building Materials, the best building materials resource in California since 1962 for the designer, builder, contractor, and for you, the homeowner. Call us or come by today and see why we always say we supply your demand. Thompson Building Materials, transforming spaces into beautiful places. Beto Duran, Steve Kim, Doug Fisher, Jess Rosales, and you, wherever you may be. I know Anthony Saldana is watching us. Our good friend Jim Boone Tickets, KO Tickets. We wish you were here in person. Richard Brewer will be the main event later on. Cuñado's checking in. Daniel Ochoa, Philip Monk. Said Thompson cards are always action-packed, can't wait. And you saw that in the first round, Steve.
No, you certainly did. And you take a look at Oliva, his style. I certainly would not call him a finesse southpaw. He seems to have a very deliberate, hard, bit of a hunched-over stance. And that second knockdown was caused by some of those hard body shots we were calling, Beto.
Steve, you know
No, it's not a knockdown.
You know who Oliva's style kind of reminds me of is Victor Ortiz.
That's an interesting comparison.
Another body shot. Gonzalez is just trying to survive here. I can see that look. A little Victor Ortiz for the fighter in the black and silver. Throwing his jab, and Henry Ramirez's coach says the same thing.
I just recall that Victor Ortiz didn't always make use of a jab, and all of his punches were always hard. He put everything into every shot. And of course, he was a southpaw like Oliva.
Linus Esquire watching golf and boxing right now. Let's, as always, what do you call him? The security blanket?
He's a security blanket.
We're seeing blood by the corner of the right eye of Gonzalez. It's probably courtesy of a left cross. There's a couple more left crosses.
Man, he is loading up on his punches. Here's the fighter making his pro debut, Nelson Oliva. Gonzalez going back. He's been in trouble since the opening bell. And that's it. Daniel Sandoval jumps in, saves the fight. Stop right there. As Nelson Oliva in his pro debut gets a second round stoppage. Steve
Yeah, it
Kim.
was pretty simple. The southpaw Oliva was pitching, and it was Gonzalez catching throughout the night. Very heavy-handed fighter is Oliva. He'll be interesting because he doesn't look like the type of southpaw that's going to be particularly elusive. But as I said before, he's very deliberate, straightforward style. Looks like he's going to make a lot of fights. Question is, look, he's not going to be a cutie in the ring. Is the second step of development as we go down the line here with Henry Ramirez is will he be able to have enough head movement and be able to protect his chin? Because he will face liver opposition down the line. But a pretty good start tonight for young Olivas.
And here we are ringside. You can see it. We have the plexiglass around us. We're separated. Doug is over here. Steve's back here. Our crew in the front, California, Joe Pahar, the timekeeper, Richard Uriel, and we're looking at a camera up here. So this is how advanced we're getting. Everybody has their own monitor. Everybody has their own light. We are here with you, everybody that's checking in. Let me just give you the shout-outs right now. Our man, Archbishop Stubbs, says boxing three-headed monster, us announcing it. What's up, Archbishop Stubbs?
King Ghidorah.
Yeah. Oh, now you want me to go to commercial? Bro, I'm about to give shout-outs and you want me to give commercials, man? All right, the director wants me to go to commercial. Let's go to commercial. We'll come back with the official announcement from Lupe Rivera. Whatever, him too. So Nelson Oliva gets his victory in his pro debut, a second round stoppage, 24-year-old, originally from the San Fernando Valley. He actually went to Cleveland High and was a water polo player, so he's used to some scraps.
Looks very athletic. I think him getting down to 154 pounds, which probably no problem at all. I think that's the move. Doesn't look like a modern-sized middleweight, but very powerful. Good, powerful frame.
Next fight coming up is going to be Arnold Dinong against Katsuma Akitsugi. And let's see, as we were doing the shout-outs before they wanted us to go to the guys. Tim Boxale, our good friend Tim Boxale is watching.
And let me just say, if Tim Boxale was not watching this, I would be led to believe this fight card was not happening. Nobody watches more boxing than Tim Boxale. It's not even close.
If you're a fight fan, do yourself a favor. Go to Tim's Twitter account, and on top of it, he has a link tree where you can go and get the stream for every single fight that he has. So subscribe to it, see it. I was watching these two super heavyweights yesterday from Russia, and thank you, Tim Boxale. His account is Tim Boxale. Literally, that's the account. The best man available for you.
There are snowball fights happening in Antarctica that he streams. It's unbelievable.
The penguin fights in Antarctica, bro. I tell you, he takes care of it for you. Also, let's see. Who do we got here? Adrián Sandoval, saludos a tú y tu papá in East LA. And it is Lupe Contreras, our ring announcer. I said Lupe Rivera. That's the singer. Julius Julianes, nuestro gran amigo.
JJ!
Oh, my goodness. That's another one. If he's not watching it.
Another boxing guy. Solid boxing guy.
Sí, no pasa nada con Julius. Steve Kim is watching us, so everybody else. So we appreciate you guys. Jessica Rosales is standing by at her perch. Let's go see what the best of the biz, Jess Rosales, has to say.
And then you can look at the camera. All right, guys, joining us now, we've got Knuckle Nelson, who comes out victorious in his pro debut. We're just chatting it up right now, and of course, we're talking about this being a big night of firsts for you. Now, obviously, your pro debut, so your first professional fight, you get your first win, you get your first knockout, first time in the bubble, a lot of firsts happening here. So what's it like going on? What's going on in the mind right now? A lot of things happening, I'm sure.
Yeah, a lot of things were happening. I came in with the intention of being as cool as a cucumber, as cool as a cool breeze, was fighting the main event. But I just wanted to be cool and calm and take my time and pick them apart.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that really stood out about you. You did knock down your opponent 2 times in that first round, but you kept your composure. You stayed very calm. Where does that come from? Because a lot of people, especially in their pro debut, can kind of just go and attack and maybe get ahead of themselves, but you kept very calm. Where did that come from?
A wounded animal is a dangerous animal, and I give it all up to my experience. Not so much as the amateur ranks, but just in the gym and learning from some of the best fighters that have sparred, and I think that's what really let me be that way.
Right. And so, things are a little bit different because of quarantine, the pandemic and everything. So probably not the way that you envisioned your first professional fight, but tell me how it's been for you so far, obviously being in the bubble and going through this entire experience.
Oh, I loved it. It doesn't matter. I think they gave me this opportunity to come and fight, and I really wanted to take advantage of it. I'm just grateful to be here and put a show on.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing that you did miss out on is the fans, but we saw on our live stream all of the fans that were saying Knuckle Nelson, that were cheering you on, that were behind you on your side today. How about a little something for them, for cheering you on and for supporting you from home on your pro debut?
Thank you, everyone. I love you. Shout out to my family. They always have my back. My girlfriend, my tia, I love you. I love you so much. Keep on fighting.
I love that. It sounds like the message to your tia was very special. Tell me a little bit about that.
She's going through a battle with cancer right now. She's going to win. I love her.
You know what? If your tia is a fighter like you are, we know she's going to make it through this okay. And of course, our hearts are all with your tia through all of this. And, anything else that you want to say for us? I mean, this is a big night for you. Those emotions are coming out.
Yeah. It's going to be the first of many. I promise that. And just come and see again.
All right, Knuckle Nelson with the win in his pro debut tonight. Of course, we've got more boxing coming up in 3-2-1 boxing. But first, we're going to take a word from our sponsors. Stick with us after this.
Experience the world's largest compatible cordless system. Makita's LXT batteries take you from power tools to outdoor power equipment. The blower delivers power comparable to a 24cc gas model. From the job site to your home, reach speeds of 116 miles per hour. Use Makita's cordless products anytime, anywhere. One system, endless possibilities. Now get 2 extra free batteries.
All right, and we are back, and joining us now, we've got Ken Thompson, and of course, we've got a lot to talk about, and we started out this night with a pro debut, a KO in the second, and you know what? Not the first or the last of our 2021 shows. We're going to have plenty more this year. Tell us about that and how successful these shows have been, especially on a Sunday.
Well, this is our 5th show, so we've done well in the last 4 shows. We've had great fights, great response from a lot of the people that have been watching. Our sponsors love it, so they jumped in behind us, knowing that without a fan base or anybody here in the audience, they have to raise money, and that's the way we've been doing it. So we've been very fortunate that way, and we're looking forward to the rest of the year as being another fabulous year. I think our next fight will be in April, so we'll be seeing a lot of our fighters on these cards. That's what we're keeping them busy. We can't just let them sit. They're all anxious. They're all jumping up and down. There's only a few shows around, and we have one of them. So we're going to work out hard and heavy all year long.
Yeah, and I think, one of the fighters that we're going to be keeping busy, Danny Roman. I hear that you've got an update for us on what's going on with him.
Well, Danny had one fight since his loss. He looked great. He's mentally in the game. Eddie Gonzalez is his trainer and manager, and he works him very hard. They work close together. He's perfect. He's never been more ready for a fight than Danny. You can count on seeing him here in the next couple months, and I think you'll see him back with a belt on. Yeah.
I gotta ask you, what is it about boxing on a Sunday that just feels so perfect? I feel like, it's the end of the weekend, you get to relax at home. These shows have been so successful as far as the fans supporting and always tuning in.
Right. Well, Fridays are a big night. Saturday's another big night. And Sundays you're sitting at home wondering what to do, and you can turn the TV on, or you can watch your fight on ThompsonBoxing.com and see a fabulous show for free. Have some conversation with your wife, a nice dinner, and say good night. So actually, I think Sunday is probably the best day we could pick because it gives us a lot of fans out there watching with nothing really to do.
Well, Sundays are for 321 Boxing, and of course, we have a lot of support behind us as far as the sponsors go that make these shows possible. I'm sure that there's some thank yous that you want to get out there.
Oh, yeah, we've got some great sponsors. I mean, people that called us wanting to be part of it. Makita, for one, worldwide company, well-known. Henry, I think everybody knows Henry with Fortifiber Corporation behind him. Thompson Boxing Promotion, is always thanking these people. Thompson Building Materials is another one that worldwide. We ship all over the world, so people know us. Omega International, not only do they ship all over state of California, but all over the United States, with locations all over the United States and in China. So they're well covered. So they're behind us. We've got great people behind us. Belgard, one of the greatest companies and pavers you will ever see. So to be honest with you, the people that have got with us are part of our team, and we've all worked well together.
Well, a big thank you to all of them for making these shows possible. And of course, a big thank you to you, Ken, for helping us with these shows, making these possible, and of course, for the time today. I know that we've got a lot of great fights happening tonight. We've got 2 more to go still. So is there anything else you want to say to everybody at home that's watching?
Well, just thank you very much for being a fan, and we'll continue to bring you great fights. We want your Sundays to be a Thompson Sunday. So from now on, you can count on us. And we'll always try to bring you the best of the best. So look forward to seeing you every month.
Perfect segue, because speaking of the best, let's go now to Beto Duran, Steve Kim, and Doug Fisher. Doesn't get any better than those guys.
And it doesn't get any better than Mr. Ken Thompson.
Tonight, I'm just go there and do my things and then bring the victory.
Me and Katsuma were both undefeated fighters. He's 4-0, I'm 7-0, and we're both gonna bring fireworks, and somebody's gonna leave with an L tonight.
Now entering the ring, fighting out of the red corner, el cohete japonesito, Katsuma Akitsugi.
Wakayama, Japan. He's now training in Whittier, California. We saw him on a Thompson show a couple months ago. Looks like he has some talent, some potential. Wearing the Mexican colors at Eddie's boxing crew in Lincoln Heights.
His opponent in the blue corner, the Hawaiian Pit Bull, Arnold Dinong.
Arnold Dinong trains in Northern California, Aloha Time Boxing, with a good friend of ours, Bruno Escalante, from Eva Beach, Hawaii. And all the Hawaiians that are watching right now, you guys better share. We see you leaving the comments. Jessica Trujillo, young fighter that we've seen on Thompson show, started in Salinas. I think we saw him in Sacramento, maybe. Seeing him grow. He's 7-0. Only one KO, and this is a good one tonight, matched up very, very evenly. Looking forward to our co-feature. Beth Duran, Doug Fisher, Steve Kim, Jessica Rosales, and Lupe Contreras is the ring announcer. Thank you for joining us tonight.
We continue with the action here at the Omega Products International Event Center. It is 3-2-1 Boxing, proudly presented to you by Thompson Boxing Promotions and being sponsored by Thompson Building Materials, Henry Fortifiber, Infinity Bank, Western Division. Our judges at ringside are Max DeLuca, now, two undefeated fighters enter the ring, but someone's gonna take an L tonight. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the red corner. He enters wearing the colors of Mexico, green, white, and red. His official weight, 124 pounds. Undefeated as a pro, with 4 victories. One of his victories coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Wakayama, Japan, el cohete japonesito, Katsuma Akitsugi. Across the ring in the blue corner, wearing green with white and black, he weighed in at an official 123 3/4 pounds. Like his opponent, he too is undefeated. In the 8th time entering the ring as a pro with 7 victories. One of those victories coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Eva Beach, Hawaii, the Hawaiian Pit Bull, Arnold Dinong.
Go fighters, 2 seconds. Mouthpiece. So, little high. So right here will be good. These are perfect. Right here will be good. Agree. Touch gloves if you want. God bless. Veteran Ray Corona will be third man in the ring.
Let's see how these featherweights match up. Very well. They have equal reach. Akitsugi is just 1 inch taller, and they're the same age range, really. You know, early to mid-20s.
Ready? What do you see in this one, Steve?
Well, it's going to be interesting. Well, we did see Dinong a couple of years ago. One thing I do remember, I think it may have been in Salinas, that Dinong seemed to fade in the second half of the fight. I think anytime you face a Japanese fighter, you better be in great physical condition.
Yeah, and he's changed it up full time. Now living in Northern California. I mentioned it with training with Bruno Escalante, Aloha Time Boxing. That's also, I forget his name, that good cut man that we know. He was working a lot of top rank shows. White guy with the glasses. Swole.
Oh, Mike Basil.
There you go.
Mike, that's why I get paid the big bucks. Stuff like that.
And shout out to Mike Basil, does a great job in that. He's in that gym also. So that's part of the thing that Dinong has done, is made the commitment from the island to Northern California full time out here. El Cuete, the southpaw Akitsugi, was recently in camp with Joseph Diaz Jr., helping Jojo get ready for his last fight.
That's great work. Akitsugi was a pleasant surprise when we saw him for the first time. I believe it was last September.
Yep.
He only had 3 professional fights, no amateur background really to speak of, and I was expecting a really raw product. And his technique was far more advanced than, you know, somebody who is a latecomer to the professional ranks and only had 3 bouts under his belt. So this is an interesting matchup. I think Dinong has the edge and pro experience and amateur background. He's probably the better athlete, and you know, he's the mobile boxer. And Akitsugi is an aggressive technician.
Phil Monk checking in. Danilin Lanuza checking in. Roland Ade checking in. Jessica Trujillo. Everybody on Team Dinong checking in from the 808. Thanks again to Fight Hub TV, Fino Boxing, Noti Fight, Supreme Boxing, True Boxing Heads. Everybody helping make 321 Boxing here for you on a Sunday night. Normally, fighters with these records being brought this way, Steve, wouldn't be fighting each other this soon.
I find this interesting. Dinong is 7-0, and there's not a lot of managers in their 8 fights who want to fight any lanky, tall southpaw. I mean, Akitsugi brings some real dimensions. He's tall, lanky, and he seems to be very aggressive, and he's in and out with his movements. This is a tough style to figure out and decipher early on for Dinong.
This was scheduled for 6 rounds. Our co-main here on 321 Boxing this Sunday afternoon from Omega Products International in Corona, California. Fighting at 124 for this fight.
Stop with the belt, gentlemen.
Both fighters would be at 22, but for this one they'll need to shrink down for that. Good opening round. As always, want to say thank you to everybody helping make Thompson Boxing available for you. But this fight is brought to you by Thompson Building Materials, the best building materials resource in California since 1962. It's for the designer, the builder, the contractor, for you, the homeowner. Call us or come by today and see why we always say we supply your demand. Thompson Building Materials, transforming spaces into beautiful places. Saludos, Miguel Montelongo in Pasadena, California. Everybody checking us out. Make sure you guys tweet at Steve Kim. What is your Twitter? You have so many different aliases, my man.
Well, currently it is very simple. It's Steve Kim 323.
All right, the Pride of Montebello. And then your Instagram is Steve
Kim Orale.
Dougie, you are just what? Dougie Fisher?
Dougie Fisher.
The editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine. And the magazine just had a beautiful edition, Doug.
Oh, yeah, our special edition celebrating the 50th anniversary of Fraser Ali 1.
With Sloan art?
Yes,
oh.
That cover is it's definitely a collector's item.
And how could you order if you just want to get that?
If you just want to buy it, you can buy it from the Ring shop. Go to ringtv.com and go to the e-shop, and you can purchase it.
It was a great cover. Love Richard.
Do it now because they're going fast.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the allotment that we've put to the e-shop is going to sell out.
El Paso, Texas, check it in right now. Web box. This one's scheduled for 6. Back and forth action. El Cuete is the southpaw. Katsumi Akitsugi left Wakayama, Japan. Said he had to come to the United States. Has a manager who's helping him out. He lives in Whittier, California. At his boxing gym in Lincoln Heights. So during the pandemic for his last fight, he was training in his trainer's backyard.
Right.
Now there's an actual gym. Things are back to normal as best as they can be for them.
Well, that's a good thing. He needs to be sharp for this fight, and he's looking sharp. Although I gave Dinong the edge in the opening round. I thought he stuck and moved really well, and this round, Dinong is planting his feet a little bit more. He's being a little more aggressive, which is not an easy thing to do against Akitsugi, because Akitsugi is he's clever. He's not easy to catch clean, and he's always in position to punch back.
Each fighter with only 1 KO, so I can see this one going the distance back and forth. Dinong in the green.
And we could have some really close rounds.
Max DeLuca, Daniel Sandoval, Rudy Barragan are your judges. Ray Corona, third man in the ring. A minute to go in the second. Good action.
It's good back and forth. As Doug mentioned, a lot of close rounds. Honestly, I gave round number 1 to Akitsugi.
And I could see that.
And right now, this is a battle of distance. From the outside, it is the southpaw controlling things. And you see Dinong trying to make more of a concerted effort to close ground. And I think Akitsugi made a real good uppercut right down the middle. That certainly got the attention of Dinong.
And he followed it with a strong left. Alex Salcedo in El Paso, Texas. So El Paso coming strong. El Paso, where Oscar De Loya once fought at the Sun Bowl.
Patrick Charpentier, summer of 1998, drew 48,000. That was the star power.
48,000 for that?
That was the star power of the Golden Boy at that point.
Is that when he walked in with like the brown outfit and sombrero, and every woman was going crazy? Sun Bowl. Larry Smith would love that.
So did Todd Marinovich.
Yeah. Seemed like U.S. every single year. Nothing like a 7-5 team going to El Paso on New Year's Eve. And if you're watching Thompson Boxing for the first time, you feel like it's a loose conversation. Like, wait a minute, these guys actually talking to me? Yes, we are interacting with you. Leave your comments. And there you see our main event coming to the building. That's Nate Weston, because he keeps it 100. That's why he had that shirt on from L.A., originally from Atlanta, Georgia. He's 6-0 with 2 stops. He'll be taking on Richard Brewart, and that comes up next. That's the face of Arnold Dinong, the Hawaiian Pit Bull. Ashleen Dinong. So that's my brother. All right, is it really your brother? Just 'cause you got the last name. Ben Yosef, what's happening? Good fight. So I was back there talking with Akitsugi. He understands a little bit of English. He understands a little bit of Spanish. And they're keeping very, very minimal. And I was asking Eddie, like, how do you do it? He's like, he understands me enough.
Well, it's the language of boxing. That's what everyone speaks in the gym.
Well, okay, elaborate on that, Steve. What is it?
Well, language of boxing, a lot of trainers will tell you that, look, certain terms like left hook, right hand jab, duck, slip, fighters can actually understand that.
That's universal.
And then a lot of times you gesture, you show a fighter to do something, and there's a lot of times that it's the unspoken word. If you really have a great chemistry between a fighter and a trainer, they could actually learn each other's language as they go along.
And you know what? Training should be hands-on, especially at the beginning, especially during a fighter's foundation.
Randy Vasquez watching us in Ogden, Utah, home of the Raptors. Angels minor league team. No, yeah, Dodgers minor league team, Ogden Raptors.
Akitsugi is showing us that he is a really good counterpuncher.
Real sharp right down the middle, Doug, with that left hand. I think Dinong needs to make this a phone booth battle, if you remember those things. Because from the outside, if you just look at the dimensions and the reach, Akitsugi has a real good advantage. He's really, really quick off that trigger right down the middle.
I think Dinong can be on the outside, but he needs to move. He can't be on the outside and stand right in front of Akitsugi.
Dinong with Bruno Escalante in his corner. I like the progression of both these fighters. 7-0 Dinong, 4-0 Akitsugi. They don't look like they're guys that have had less than 10 fights. I like this. They're moving around nicely. And there's that phone booth you're talking about, right, Steve?
Well, I think if you're going to make this chest to chest, this is where Dinong probably is going to be a little bit more effective than purely from the outside. See, again, right there, he ran into something, that quick 1-2, although he lands a good right hand inside, but again, that's when he closes the gap.
I think Dinong has the quicker hands, especially in combination. Akitsugi has just the better timing. Maybe the better accuracy as well.
And I asked Akitsugi, what did you learn about sparring with Joseph Diaz Jr., who at the time was the IBF champion? He said, I learned that guys like him, towards the end of rounds, they keep their stamina going. They keep it going. Like I was fading at the end of rounds. I couldn't do that because JoJo was teaching me that it was going to hurt if you let off at the end of the round. The first day he showed up, they said, okay, you're going to do 4. He ended up doing 8 and got the call the next day. We like your work. Why don't you come back again? And how many times have guys gone to spar, then all of a sudden the next day they forget their mouthpiece? You see that a lot at Wildcard, right?
No, we do. I mean, look, it's a rite of passage for any young fighter at this level to face a world-class practitioner. And by the way, Joseph Diaz last week disputed draw and losing his title on the scale. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens to his future with Golden Boy.
Our main event, that's Cool Breeze, Richard Brewart walking in, 8-0, 4 KOs from nearby Rancho Cucamonga.
Showtime.
Be in the main event, and you guys worked his last fight in December, where he hit the deck early, didn't he, Doug?
Oh, he went down in a way and was shook in a way that we were thinking maybe he doesn't get out of this round, or maybe he can't recover in with one movement. Yeah, I mean he did recover. But and that just showed his composure, his poise under fire. But when he was first hurt, the way he was so wobbled, it looked like, well, maybe the fight could end.
And then he got up and ended it when? The next round?
The very next round.
That's also another thing, Steve, you like seeing the development of young fighters where you got to get tested.
No, you do. There has to be a little bit of a situation where you have to run into at least a little bit of professional resistance. I thought last night 2 really high-end prospects on the top-ranked banner, Elvis Rodriguez and Xander Zayas. I thought they got some real quality work over 6 and 8 rounds. Those type of experiences and getting drilled in the canvas, getting up and winning are so much more valuable than these early highlight reel knockouts. Oh, good right hand by Dinong.
Yeah, Dinong's putting on the pressure, lands an overhand right. This time he's backing up the Japanese fighter who's against the ropes for the first time in this fight.
Beto, I think there seems to be a real sense of urgency for Dinong. My scorecard means nothing, but halfway through I have it 29-28 Akitsugi.
And Doug, a completely different approach from Dinong in this round.
Yes, and the aggression is working for him. He's crowding Akitsugi. Akitsugi's punches are
push down.
Yeah, that was a trip. Akitsugi's punches are probably more effective or have more leverage from mid-range and long range.
And this is what Steve Kim was asking for the last couple rounds for the Hawaiian. Get close, chest to chest. Don't give him room to breathe.
Hey, Steve was right.
Yeah, well, the thing was with Akitsugi, and Doug, you mentioned it, with those long arms, it takes a little bit of time to unfurl them. So you need a little breathing space. You need a little airspace. If Dinong can just find that sweet spot right in the mid-range, he's going to generally beat Akitsugi to the punch.
Hawaiian Pitbull is the nickname for Arnold Dinong, coming out like 1 in the 4th.
And I think he really needed to. I had it after 3 rounds, 28-27. So I scored the first round for Dinong, but rounds 2 and 3 for Akitsugi.
Oh, good counter left hand. And you see what's going on there. Akitsugi is just getting on his back foot, rocking back, and running Dinong into straight lefts. Real crafty move there.
Dinong may have been momentarily stunned by that left.
Crafty move. You don't normally hear that from a guy who's 4-0. Good action between the youngsters, Arnold Dinong in the green, Katsuma Akitsugi in the red and white. Both of them undefeated. 4th round scheduled for 6.
And this is a tough one to score. I thought the first minute was pretty much dominated by Dinong, but from that point on, Akitsugi again landing a slapping left hand, kind of stabilized the action and starting to corral Dinong from the mid-range and outside.
Ray Corona telling them instructions in this referee. Final seconds of a very, very tight fourth round. So the action picks up in Corona, California. If you're watching this fight on Facebook, make sure you share, comment. We read them all. Like Hoku Ganotisi says, push the fight, Arnold. No let off. Daniel Ochoa. Hey, Daniel Ochoa. How you doing? Saludos. Loyal viewer Thursday is on Thursday nights. Look at the replays. Steve.
And this is the second half of the round after a really quick start by Dinong. And again, distance, range, and space is so important. And you could see Dinong leaning inside. This is where you want to use some feints because you could see Akitsugi starting to time him just a little bit right down the middle with that simple 1-2.
Marquise Johns checking in.
Oh,
Marquise.
brother Marquise.
Said fun fight so far. Weak Sauce Radio. Pretty cool. His location, wherever the ring bell is at. Big. What's up, Marquise? Appreciate you and the work that you do. Try to read all your articles as much as I can, man. Much as I can. And also the creator of the Liver Shivers. So if you guys want to see somebody's liver get shivered, go to his Twitter account. He's got them up there for you. So everybody checking in on this Sunday night.
Stop! Take a step back all the way. Now get out in the middle.
Veteran referee Ray Corona. Mina Dinong checking in. Carlos Ponce. Hey, Compton Boxing. How you doing? Saludos. Good shot landed by Dinong with that right. Worked off the ropes nicely. Did El Cuete Akitsugi.
He has got nice moves for a 4-0 fighter. A 4-0 four-round fighter. Really.
Yeah.
Up until now, a 4-round fighter. And he's got little moves like that.
His first 6 rounds scheduled. The first time he went more than 4 rounds is when he sparred Jojo Diaz 8.
Well, he's a student of boxing, and he's been getting a crash course. I think he's much better, much more effective against Dinong when he's in the center of the ring.
Yeah, he is, and he does a nice job of feinting, getting on his back foot, and then counter-punching Dinong as he comes. Dinong needs to change the pace. His head's coming out a little bit in front of his lead foot. That's going to leave you very, very vulnerable to getting hit by a counter shot.
If you're watching this for the first time, Thompson Boxing is a club show, and they match you tough because they have to. They got to figure out what you have. It makes no sense for them to have a fighter who's 7-0 against a guy who's 0-5. What are you going to learn from that?
Yeah, no, keep this in mind. One of their best fighters that they've ever produced is Danny Roman. Ended up being a unified 122-pound champion. Had a very good run. He actually lost very early on in this series and had a draw.
And they released him.
Yeah. So they're not into making a 30-0 record. They're not trying to make you lip sync here. They want to see if you could sing a little bit.
Michael Mendiola, you're right. Main event. Nate Weston used to be sparring with Jaime Munguia. We'll get into that story later on. That's our main event next. Brewart and Weston, but right now Arnold Dinong and Katsuma Akitsugi in a good scrap. A tough one to score. This back and forth action since the opening bell. 30 seconds to go in the 5th. That voice you hear in the corner is Eddie, the trainer for Akitsugi. Final seconds of the 5th. As we're going to head to the 6th in a tight one. Back and forth. See who else is watching us right now. The main event coming up next. George Jakovic, awesome announce team. I mean, yeah. I mean, and we haven't even started drinking yet, bro. That's next round. AJ Rage, gotta love Sunday Night Boxing. Yeah, you know what? At this stage, we just love boxing any night. And at first, it was, what are we doing on Sunday? I remember talking to Alex Campanovo, like, we're gonna go up against football. Yeah. And he said, you know what? You're gonna have the hardcore fans watching you no matter what. Now everybody multitasks. You watch your phone, you watch your computer, your iPad. Like how many fights were on last night? You're gonna find a way.
Right.
One more to go. This is the sixth and final round.
Looking at both corners, guys, I think both of them have to be telling their fighters there better be a great sense of urgency. I think this fight's up in the air. I don't know how you have it, Doug, but I have it 48-47 Akitsugi.
Yeah, I have Akitsugi by 1 point.
So on our unofficial scorecards, have him by 1 point. Akitsugi, who's in the red corner, Dinong in the green, and just let it go. Let them go. Alex Rumbero. Love your avatar, Alex. Okay. We'll just flip everybody off. All right. Michael Mendiola, Robert Fernandez. Good pace fight. Yes, it is. And our main event is coming up next. Philip Monk says he has Arnold up by 1. Okay. And the thing is, you can see it different ways.
There's at least 2-3 rounds I think were very, very tight. Could have gone either way.
Both fighters undefeated. The 6th and final round. Neither fighter has been tested this much in their young careers. So it's uncharted territory for both of them, which is great experience moving forward in their career. This is one of the fights that whoever loses, it doesn't affect you.
No, it really doesn't. I think both of them have gotten a lot out of this. Great seasoning. They've gotten toughened up, and they realize what it takes to be in a real fight.
And that's something these young fighters and sometimes managers avoid at times.
No, they do. Look, Edgar Berlanga, me and Doug were talking about him earlier. As high as I am on him, I think he's a very marketable fighter. The reality is, as of right now, he's never been past the 2nd round. We don't know exactly what he is, even this late into his career.
He's what, 18-0, 18 KOs?
Literally has never seen the 2nd round.
Great for Instagram highlights. But that was the same thing with Ryan Garcia. He was knocking people out until you get tested.
Or you could be Tyrone Brunson, who I think is 26-0, ended up, I don't want to say fraudulent, but there was a mirage that was created around him.
Alex Rumbero, okay. His profile pic isn't him flipping you off. It's Bob Arum flipping you off.
The Bob father.
He said this fight isn't hard to score. El Cuete is ahead. Adan Ochoa, I beat both fighters on my worst day. Adan, well, you're more experienced than them, bro. Like, how many fights do you have compared to them? Come on, man.
Tell you what, I like the effort from both junior featherweights in this 6th and final round.
7-0, 4-0. And credit to both of them even taking the fight. Because you're going to come in 3-2-1 boxing, you better be ready to scrap. That's what you're getting. That'll do it. 6 good rounds. Fun fight. A good one. A hard one to score here ringside. And we will go to the judges' scorecards, see what happens. I definitely want to see it again. Arnold, Dinong, Katsuma, Akitsugi, as they progress. Maybe in 5 fights from now, man.
Sure.
Adan Ochoa, I want the smoke. Adan, what's your record, bro? I know you have a better record than both of these guys, right?
And by the way, Adan, it is Alex Campanova that makes the fights, not us.
And we'll come back with the results and more Adan Ochoa update for you from Thompson Boxing in Corona, California.
Discover the advantages of the Henry Fortifiber 123 moisture control system. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Choose the weather barrier, add the flashing, then finish up with the Henry Moist Top Sealant. Done. No guessing, no gambling. Just the winning confidence you get from our compatible systems.
Come back to me or Lupe? Okay.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The mower is a part of the world's largest battery system and cuts non-stop for up to 2 miles. The self-propelled model makes mowing effortless. Get unstoppable power without the hassles of gas. Reach speeds of up to 116 miles per hour with the single battery blower. One system, endless possibilities. Now get 2 extra free batteries.
Back here, ringside, Bethel Duran, Steve Kim, and Doug Fisher. Ringside here, they're tallying up the scorecards between Arnold Dinong and Katsuma Akitsugi. A lot of you guys leaving the comments saying you can see a draw. You can see it going for Katsuma. You can see it going for Arnold Dinong. So that's the type of fight that we had. And for those of you who are saying, oh, his nickname, El Cuete, it's not Rocket. I asked the coach, what's the deal? They said, El Cuete, like a firecracker. You know, the slang terms that we have when it's 4th of July, El Cuete, there it is. So that's why that's his nickname. So I know the proper term would be something else. But hey, slang. That's what happens when you live in Whittier and you train in Lincoln Heights, right? They do all kinds of things for you. Steve, real quick from you, your unofficial scorecard.
58-56 for Akitsugi.
And Doug, your unofficial?
Yep, 4 rounds to 2, Akitsugi.
Okay, that's what our unofficial scorecards have here ringside. Also, shout out to the Mayor 007, Eric. I don't know your last name. My #1 troll. All he does is take pictures of me, and he posts me looking terrible. As I always like to say, I love my fans. Because, Eric, you, the Mayor, you're watching me. I ain't watching you. So we are having a good time here. We do interact with everybody else. Sherelle Jimenez says Team Dinong. Israel Luna, Team El Cuete. So appreciate everybody leaving the comments for you. Kia Wolford. And shout out to everybody in Hawaii that's been watching and supporting and sharing the 808 Eva Beach. And the man from Houston, La Voz, Lupe Contreras.
After going all 6 rounds here at the Omega Products International Event Center, we consult the official scorecard to determine a winner. Judge Sandoval scores the bout 58-56 in favor of Dinong. Judge DeLuca, 58-56 in favor of Akitsugi. And Judge Barragan scores the bout 59-55 in favor of the winner by way of split decision. El Cuete Japonesito, Katsuma Akitsugi.
Katsuma Akitsugi improves to 5-0. Arnold Dinong loses for the first time. Katsuma Akitsugi showed up at Thompson during the bubble. Like, we didn't know much about him. Easy win last time. Today gets tested against Arnold Dinong. I liked what I saw, and I think Alex Campanovo, matchmaker, really likes it too.
I would describe this as hard-earned and well-deserved, and as it relates to Arnold Dinong, I don't think it really sets him back. I thought he showed some things. This fight was very, very close. It's the type of fight, unfortunately, Doug, we don't see enough between young prospects.
Agreed. It was a competitive fight. It's a fight that Dinong's going to learn from, like you said. I think Dinong needs to kind of figure out his ring identity.
Yeah.
I think it was he was switching it up a little bit too much. Didn't stick with one thing, whether it was being on the stick and move or being the aggressor. And when he was the aggressor, he didn't always stay in the pocket long enough. But that's not an easy thing against a guy like Akitsugi. And Akitsugi, you know what? He's just fun to watch. He's an aggressive technician, and he's smart in there. He has some nice moves.
Doug, this is the kind of fight you want to have earlier in your career, not later when you're, I don't know how to handle this
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. These are character-building fights. So when you move into 8-rounders and 10-rounders and it gets real hot in there, you know you can hang. You know you can swim in the deep end of the pool.
Jeremy Dinong says, throw me in next. All right, there you go. In the Hawaiian, I love the Hawaiian fans. They really do know what's going on, and you see this. But you said it, Steve, it doesn't really set anybody back.
No, it really doesn't, because this is the type of fight that I don't think most managers, they're not going to say at 7-0 or 8-0, hey, let's face a tall, lanky southpaw.
Yeah.
They generally stay away from that.
Yeah.
But as you said, Doug, one of the things when you prepare a fighter over the big picture, you don't want to have a mandatory defense and all of a sudden that guy's a southpaw and you've never faced one. That is a quandary that a lot of fighters end up facing.
Early on. We have one more fight coming your way. That's the main event. We're going to go get a cocktail. But right now we're going to go to Jessica Rosales, who's standing by with El Cuete Akitsugi.
All right, guys. Katsuma Akitsugi joining me now, who has improved his record tonight to 5-0 after that split decision win. So first off, let's talk about tonight's fight. Obviously, you said it was going to be a war, and that's what we saw tonight. Tell me about the fight, and how did you think that you did?
I know he's gonna come forward, but I tried to be smart, and then I tried to box, and then when I hit the punch, I tried to come forward, fight back, and then that was split decision. But I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy I won.
Yeah, and won by split decision. Obviously, some very close rounds in there. Did the fight feel as close as the scorecard said?
I think fight was close,
Yeah.
but I thought I hit the clearly punch. So I was expecting. I was hoping they gave me the decision.
Yeah, and so at any point during the fight, obviously we saw from Dinong in about the 4th round a bit more urgency from him. At any point in the fight, did you feel like you had to do a little bit more to secure the win?
Yes. But a little bit, I don't know, how can I say? Yes. I just try to go hard as much as I can.
All right, and so what did you think of Dinong's performance tonight? Obviously, he didn't make it a very easy win for you. He was a tough opponent.
Yes, I expect every opponent is tough. I always say I train hard every day. Whenever I'm ready, I'm ready for anybody at 122. I'm ready.
All right, and of course, El Cuete, we had a lot of fans that were tuned in to watch you tonight on our stream, 321 Boxing. Is there anything you want to say to everybody at home that watched?
I just want to thank people who support me. I really mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll come back stronger.
All right, and so what is next for you? What can we expect to see?
Whoever and whenever, when they give me the opportunity, I'm gonna take it.
All right, we love to hear that. Of course, congratulations on the win. Thank you so much for the time. But now let's send it back over to Beto, Doug, and Steve.
You run a unit. You want me to talk right now? You want me to talk? All right, we'll talk because we've been having a good discussion about what's going on. We enjoy you, the fans, and some of the comments that you've been leaving because the fans that we get on Thompson Boxing are really smart about it. So we thank you so much and continue to share. Our main event is coming up, but before that, when you have Doug Fisher and Steve Kim here, you want to take advantage and talk about the current events of boxing. So it's not the 3 knockdown rule. No Mario Lopez here. No free swag for you. No Teofimo's dad coming on right now. But we're going to have a chance to go and talk about what's going on. And last night, Doug, I'm going to start with you.
in Las Vegas. Oscar Valdez, Miguel Burchell. I thought it could be the beginning of a trilogy, but the way that Valdez came in as a huge underdog and just knocked him out, wow.
Hey, this is why they fight the fights, and this is why we love boxing, because it is the theater of the unexpected. If you would have asked, 10 experts, right? 10 fans, hardcore fans, 10 members of the media, who's going to win this fight? Even the folks that have love for Oscar Valdez would say, listen, he's just too small. Yeah. It's a featherweight against a big lightweight who can boil himself down to 130. And, he's got this long title reign. He's scored all these knockouts. He's a volume puncher. He's always shown to have a pretty good chin. I mean, I know he has that one loss, but, a first-round loss, but that was many years ago. Yeah. As a championship fighter, we haven't seen this guy hurt. And so what does Valdez do early in the fight? And he needed to. He hurts him. He drops him in the 4th round. And now everyone who's sitting down is standing up. Everybody is totally vested into this fight. And it was. I don't want to say epic. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to give in to hyperbole. But it is a fight of the year front runner. The year has just started.
Knockout of the year.
And the way Valdez closed the show, and he deserved to be ahead on the scorecards. But there was some drama in there where Burchell was clawing his way back round 6 and 7. Yep. But really just a masterful performance by Oscar Valdez. And he proved a lot of us wrong. I had Burchell winning that one.
And he proved Chavez Sr. wrong, the president of Mexico. And the way Oscar handled himself, very classy too. Instead of boasting, hey, you weren't with me, it was just like, okay, you know what? Good. I took it as motivation. And Steve, you've been day one with Valdez because you were there a couple years ago at StubHub in a monsoon, basically, wearing an orange poncho, by the way, go Canes. You and Jim Boone tickets. So you saw him fight with a broken jaw against Scott Quigg. You've seen the development of going from Manny Robles to Eddie Reynoso, a different fighter last night.
Yeah, that was Waterworld 2018, and that was the night that his career seemed irrevocably damaged against Scott Quigg, who came in very heavy. And from that point on, there was a change made by Frank Espinoza to Eddie Reynoso, which was second-guessed a lot. And I go back to a conversation that I had with Oscar over the summer prior to his fight with Jason Velez in the bubble. We talked off the record, and I said, Oscar, just my opinion, I don't think you can win this fight if you're just going to box and try to be slick. I think there comes a point you have to bully the bully. And his exact words were, that's exactly what we're going to do. In other words, he was going to go to the belly of the beast. And I thought with Burchell, there was a bit of a mythology, because if you take a look at who he had beaten in this title run, Doug, me and you talked about it. Look, he beat a pretty good champion that was well-worn in Francisco Vargas. He beat a Japanese guy that was really respected. But from that point on, he had beaten guys that he should have, and it created this mirage to a certain degree. And once he was able to hurt him in the 4th round, and you saw the legs wobble, it's almost like, my God, what were we looking at the last couple of years? Was it a mirage?
Yeah, 7 straight knockouts that Burchell had in his title defense, and the last night Oscar Valdez has the new WBC belt on his shoulder. Now, staying with the Valdez camp, he was with Eddie Reynoso, but one person who he was FaceTiming with yesterday, Canelo Alvarez, who is fighting in February, Steve? Am I wrong here?
Well, okay, look, he's going to try to become Oscar De La Hoya in 97, actually fight a lot. Now, when it comes to Yavne Yildirim, this is his WBC mandatory somehow. Yildirim, look, we mentioned Patrick Charpentier earlier. He's not quite at that level. He's actually a little bit more solid. Yeah. He gave Anthony Durrell a pretty tough fight February of 2019.
That's why he's the WBC mandatory.
Right, because
the vacant belt was on the line, and it was kind of controversial.
Yeah, Durrell kind of found a trap door as he got cut, which was interesting. And look, Yildirim's with Joel Diaz, and anyone that's with Joel Diaz, good by me. But there is a talent gap here.
You love that guy.
To me, it's a stay busy bout, and he's going to fight Billy Joe Saunders in May. I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to say Canelo wins.
Going out on a limb there, Steve Kim. But it's also, we've worked many Canelo fights over the years. We was the Golden Boy. We knew May, September, that's when we're working.
Exactly.
Wow, a fighter fighting 5 times possibly?
Right, maybe, possibly 5 times in a 12-month span, because he fought in December. But to have 4 fights in a calendar year, like Steve alluded to, it's been decades since the elite fighters do that on a regular basis. And when Steve and I came into boxing, as first as fans, in the early 90s, you had guys like James Toney fighting 5, 6, 7 times a year. They weren't all title fights. They weren't all killers. But enough of them were the top fighters to where it was okay if they took like a Yildirim level fighter. So if Canelo Alvarez, the rest of his dance card is Billy Joe Saunders, Gennady Golovkin and Caleb Plant, guess what? Don't complain about Yildirim. Yildirim, yes, he's not a top-tier guy, but he's solid. And when the pound-for-pound number one fighter in the sport and the biggest star in the sport, at least in North America, is fighting that often, it's good for boxing, just like it was good for boxing when Oscar De La Hoya was fighting 4 and 5 times a year, or Shane Mosley, or any of those fighters from the 90s.
And we'll see that February 27th. Next weekend, actually, Canelo Alvarez will be in the ring. The next Thompson Boxing bubble will be in April. We're going to get a full schedule for you later on as the broadcast continues. But Steve, we're starting to see things opening up in the boxing world. There's some fans allowed in certain states, certain venues. What's the latest that you hear?
Well, look, next week as Canelo fights at Hard Rock Stadium, there will be crowds. I mean, look, it's going to be limited. There will be social distancing and there will be guidelines. My understanding is that coming into April and beyond, you're going to start to see more and more events with at least a limited crowd. Bob Arum has made it very clear to me and other reporters recently. Last night was their last night in the bubble, which they've done exclusive shows since about June 9th. I was able to cover one of those. And look, Bob basically said, I need to make money. And I think they all need to make money. This is a way to kind of bridge the gap, keep the business moving. And jurisdictions like South Florida and Miami, my understanding is in mid-April, there could be another show, which is going to be pretty solid with some championship stuff. So any jurisdiction that is going to allow events, which means California may not get one for a while, but I know that Las Vegas, places like the MGM Grand, they're going to start to open up their business. So again, if you're a boxing fan that wants to get out there into a live event, I think within the next 6 to 8 weeks, you'll start to have that opportunity.
And that's the possibility. And so Las Vegas is done for Top Rank. Their bubble is shutting down.
It's burst.
It's burst. Well,
yes.
Thompson, we keep ours going because we're in California and different rules apply to different states and different jurisdictions. Leave your politics out of this, Steve Kim. We will not get involved with it. There you go. There you go. Jessica Rosales, save us right now. Let us know what's going on with our main event.
It feels really good to be on the main event of 123 Boxing. It's actually my first main event, so I'm looking to put on a great show. I really appreciate Thompson Boxing for making this event happen, especially during COVID. You know, it's been a long time, so I'm very excited to be back in the ring and excited to be doing the main event. My inspiration for fighting is usually just for greatness, you know, pursuing something, trying to be great. But for this particular fight, I'm dedicating this fight to 2 people, Cynthia Saldana, who's lost to the coronavirus, and also George, who's lost to coronavirus as well. But when I'm in the ring, I usually just fight for greatness, just to be great at something. I don't know much about Richard Brewart, but I have seen a little bit of film of him. It seems like he's very tough. I think that's one of his best attributes is his toughness. Seems like he's a determined fighter. And what I plan to do to remain undefeated is give it my all, give it my best. I know I prepare well. I've trained extremely hard. So with those 2 things happening, just not overthinking, just doing my thing, I'm pretty sure I will come out victorious.
So it's great to be back tonight. I'm ready, in shape, been training hard. Just had the fight in December. Quick turnaround, so it was the best thing that could happen tonight. In my last fight, yeah, I had a little experience. That was not what I wanted, but I got knocked down with a body shot. I mean, it was just it wasn't too bad. I mean, it took my air, it took my legs a little bit, but nothing I couldn't recover from. I just moved around after I got back up. Second round, came out, fought smart behind my jab, set him up, tied him, and caught him with the right hand and knocked him out. Nathan Weston, I know he's gonna be tough, but he tries to box, but I don't see anything that is gonna disturb what I do. I think I'm miles ahead of him when it comes to skill. He's not fast as me. I think I'm faster than him, sharper. All around, I just think I'm the better fighter, but I know he's gonna be tough. I'm not expecting him not to be tough. I know he's gonna come to fight, I know he's coming to win, so I'm expecting him to fight no matter what. My power is, I feel like it's underrated, but I've been working on it. I feel like my power shows more better when I fight better opposition because my skill level, I show out a lot better against better guys. I'm not gonna say I'm expecting a knockout, but you guys know how that right hand is. I'm expecting another clean shot, maybe a good counter right hand. I've been working a lot on my jab, my hooks, strengthening that side, so you guys might see some power out of that. But you guys just be ready for a knockout.
Now entering the ring, in the red corner, Nate 100 Weston.
Nate Weston, now in Los Angeles, originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Nickname 100 because he keeps it 100. As he said, 6-0, 2 draws, 3 KOs. Been around the Southern California club boxing scene, so you've seen him at the All-Star shows, the Bash boxing shows. He's been around. He's making his Thompson Boxing debut tonight.
His opponent in the blue corner, Richard Cool Breeze Brewer.
Main event time. That is Richard Brewart. Also started off at the different Southern California club shows, and now he's in the main event for Thompson Boxing. Rancho Cucamonga's own Cool Breeze, 8-0, 4 KOs. The music, fighters do not choose their own entrance. It's just come in and rock. Doug loves it. Come in and rock, baby. Got the neon on.
We continue with the action, the Omega Products International Event Center. It is 3-2-1 Boxing, proudly presented to you by Thompson Boxing Promotions and being sponsored by Thompson Building Materials, transforming spaces into beautiful places, locations throughout California. Omega Products International, the leading stucco manufacturer in the United States. Henry Fortifiber, moisture system control, easy as 1, 2, 3. And Makita Tools, rule the outdoors. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be entertained. This is the main event of the evening. And we're gonna find out quién es el más macho. This bout, 6 rounds in the middleweight division. Our judges scoring at ringside are Max DeLuca, Daniel Sandoval, and Rudy Barragan. The ref in charge of the ring, Ray Corona. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the red corner, wearing dark blue with silver and gold trim. On the scale, he weighed in at an official 155 3/4 pounds. He enters the ring, an undefeated pro, with 6 victories, 2 bouts even, 3 of those victories coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Los Angeles, California, Nate 100 Weston. Across the ring in the blue corner, wearing blue with neon green, he weighed in at an identical 155 3/4 pounds. He too enters the ring an undefeated pro with 8 victories, 4 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Representing Rancho Cucamonga, California, Richard Cool Breeze Brewer.
So sick of me. This is a little higher. All right. Right here, at the top, right here, this is good. Touch gloves you want now, listen to my commands. Top of this.
Ray Corona, the third man in the ring, as we get ready for our main event here on 3-2-1 Boxing. Look at the tail of the tape.
Let's see how these middleweights match up. I can tell Weston. Weston is the taller man. He's at 6 feet. He's got a slight reach advantage. Brewart is the younger man at 22.
And here we go, our main event. This was scheduled for 6 rounds. Beth Duran, Doug Fisher, editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine. Steve Kim, K9 is in there. Jessica Rosales with the interviews afterwards. Good matchup here. Brewart, the last time he was in the ring, this exact same venue and location. He was dropped in the first, came back for his second round stoppage on 3-2-1 Boxing. It's the first time we see Nate Weston in the black and gold. A former college football player, Steve, for UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, home of the Blazers. He was a defensive back, return punts. Started boxing after college football.
Both guys are boxers. Both guys have fast hands. Brewart is a counter puncher. Likes to tap the body every now and then. And Weston is somebody he's good on the stick and move.
Brewer trained by Henry Ramirez, Riverside, California. Gives quality work. You know, that test his last fight. That's what we've been talking about earlier, where you get matched up right, you learn.
It was actually stunning.
Oh, and he gets caught.
And it was a clean-up left hook thrown by Weston.
Left hook by Weston, and he looked over at us with a little wink. Brewer looking at his corner, a little dazed here, halfway through the first. Back-to-back fights that Brewer goes down in the first. Gets hit with that overhand right by Weston. Weston came to LA to chase a boxing dream. He was doing well in the amateurs in Alabama. Said, I outgrew that scene. Everybody said, if you're going to fight, you got to come to LA. 6-0. Has 3 KOs. And you'll hear the corner of Weston with instructions in Spanish. His wife is actually from Michoacan, so he understands Spanish. Wife Maria. Brewer looks like he's trying to load up on a lot of his punches, isn't he?
Yeah, it's not a good look for him. He's at his best when he's being patient and he's capitalizing on his opponent's mistakes. And yeah, he started this one kind of fast, loading up with the right hand just like that one.
Yeah, we've seen more than 5 of Brewer's fights, and he's always working his way. He looked like he came up with a different pace, different game plan today. Got caught in the first round. Let's look at a replay of that knockdown for Nate Weston. He was able to connect.
And Beto, for the second consecutive fight, you see Brewer hitting the deck, and right there, very simply, it was a right hand but a left hook coming around the corner. Brewer doesn't do a really good job of tucking in that chin, and bang, he goes down. Right now, he's down 10-8 in what is a 6-round fight, so there has to be some sort of sense of urgency in what is a relatively short fight. So you got 5 rounds here if you are Richard Brewer to make up at least 2 points.
And that's the corner of Nate Weston. ¿Estás bien? You're good? Listo? That's got to be something good, too, when you're fighting on a promoter that you've never fought for, and you come in right away. Weston in the black and gold. If you're joining us right now, let us know where you're watching us from on Thompson Boxing, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Saludos a todos los que están mirando ahorita.
Weston should get right back on that jab. He's got the longer reach. He's got very quick hands, and he's got that quick right following that left stick. It seems to me he saves the right hand from whenever Brewer comes in close. He's not throwing a long range right hand.
Let us know where you're watching and who you're rooting for on the Facebook. See, our good buddy Montero's watching us right now. Isn't he in Georgia?
Yes.
That's where
The Atlanta area.
Nate Weston, same. That's what he calls home. That's where all his people were at. He said. Brewer with the white gloves. And when you're down 10-8 and only a 6-round fight, like you were saying, Doug, the sense of urgency picks up.
There's a sense of urgency, but Henry Ramirez also knows that his fighter operates best when he's keeping cool.
Yolanda Cortez watching in New York. Curtis Hobson in Atlanta. Daniel Ochoa, Blythe, California.
So I'm sure Henry was telling Brewer, between rounds, like, you'll get it back. Don't try to rush it, but you'll get it back. Get back to the game plan. Get back to boxing. And it may not happen in this round like it did for the last fight, but you'll eventually get it back. And what he means by get it back is you'll score your own knockdown. Or I'm sure they hope a knockout.
Yeah, I think Brewer's fighting a pretty solid round number 2. That's such a cliche, but you can only box one round at a time. And I think thus far he's doing enough to actually take the lead here in this particular stanza.
I agree.
But it's a bit of a cat and mouse game, and you're right, Doug. You could see Weston laying traps with that right hand. And this is where a young man like Brewer's going to have to use a lot of feints. Don't just give the same cadence every single time. And again, right there, he ran right into that right hand.
Right.
30 seconds to go in the second round. Warriors Edge Boxing in El Paso, Texas going for Nate. Maria Soltero and Pacoima going for Nate. Israel Luna and Fontana going for Nate. Melvin Atkinson in the district, Washington, D.C.
You're stopping the bell, gentlemen.
David M.T. in Nova Scotia, Canada. Are you serious? What's up in Nova Scotia? I'm more of a Newfoundland kind of guy. Our good friend Big Serge Estrada, driving back from Vegas, going to Apple Valley. Good cut man extraordinaire. What's up, Big Serge? He's driving. We appreciate you checking in. And Serge, if you need something for the house, Thompson Building Materials got you. The best building materials resource in California since 1962. It's for the designer, the builder, the contractor, and for you, the homeowner. Call us or come on by today and see why we always say we supply your demand. Thompson Building Materials, transforming spaces into beautiful places.
And guys, I think Weston, with that late work in the final minute of that round with some right hands, took that second round. So on my scorecard, I have it 20-17 after 2 for Weston.
I have the same score.
Lewis Rose, tell Steve I said hey. You just did.
Hello, Lewis.
Alex Mariano in Jackson, Mississippi. Maria Brewart, of course, in Upland, California. Scott King, how about Otto Wallin performance last night?
Okay, for full disclosure, we didn't have showtime in the conference room, so get back to us back in April. We'll give you a full rundown.
Javier Zuniga watching from the Barstow Del Taco parking lot.
Wow, that place is elite.
That brings back memories.
That
right
place
there.
is elite, I got to tell you.
The original. Richard Brewart, young fighter. He actually is responsible for taking care of his uncle Robert, who suffers from a body condition that doesn't allow him to do much. And Brewer wakes up, bathes his uncle, feeds him, takes care of him, essentially a caretaker for him, as Richard's uncle is there with him. It was a condition where he wasn't expected to live past his mid-30s. He's now 45. So he does that, then he goes and trains. Brewer also, because of what he has to do with his uncle, works with special ed kids as an aide. So because I understand what they're going through. So real nice young man. Has a big heart, but he's in a battle right now.
He's landed some nice rights to the body, Brewer has. And I think that's a smart thing. The rumor is that Weston had to lose a lot of weight to make the contracted 156. I don't know how many pounds he had to lose, but there's a rumor that he had to lose some, more than a couple pounds to make weight. And when you do that, you're often susceptible to body shots.
Desiree Soltero on Team Nate Weston. Robert Serrano, appreciate the compliments. It's good reuniting with Steve and Doug. It's been fun here. Matthew Zuniga and Van Nuys. The 818. He's on Team Brewster. Marco Favela watching us in Las Vegas. Just love that we can interact with people all over the world. 3, 2, 1 boxing. The main event coming for you. The next one scheduled in April.
And I believe that show is going to feature a really good top-end prospect by the name of Ruben Ace Torres.
Really? Cynthia Conti checking in. All right. What up, Cynthia? First of all, congratulations on the announcement of the Bundle of Joy coming for Cynthia soon. I'm pretty sure they're going to have some kind of boxing gear blinged out right away. Cynthia does good interviews for you, right, Doug? On Ring Magazine.
The Ring Digital, our YouTube channel. And a lot of those videos make their way to our website and our Facebook page.
Final seconds of the third round.
Stop to the bell, gentlemen.
I think it's been a very good round 3 for Richard Brewart. And he needed that. He needed to win one.
Tim Boxale, as always, can't say this enough. Go and support Tim Boxale. If you're a fight fan and you're wondering, what am I going to do? Is there any fights in Panama?
Oh, all the time. You know, I met Tim
it's a real
years
person?
ago, and he used to be remember things called the DVD? Remember those?
Nope.
Okay. And every month he would send me a package of every international fight before they were so readily available on YouTube and all these download sites. So this is how vast his collection is. He had fights that no one else could get, that guys like Brad Goodman at Top Rank, who have to get everything based on their job, they said, I can't even get these fights, yet you're getting them.
Wow. I'm sure the matchmakers, the matchmakers would contact him.
Yeah, and it was great because I didn't have
to, boxing managers as well.
And it was great because as soon as I was done watching, I just give him to Brad. He'd get rid of him for me.
Yeah, Tim Boxale is the man. If you're a fight fan and you want to watch a fight in Uzbekistan in the morning, Tanzania in the afternoon, and as you said, Antarctica, he will take care of you. And I love when he gives the links to the fights in TJ, because he's always, I got to go. One day, I love working with you guys, but one day I need to work a fight at Big Punch Arena. I need to go to Big Punch Arena and just see what goes on in Tijuana, because, oh man, dreams come true. But no, seriously, Tim Boxale, we love what you do. We appreciate you. And I don't know how you make money, bro, or if you even sleep, but my goodness, you are doing great work for the boxing community. Ruckus checking in. What's up, Ruckus? Charlie Lopez checking in. Appreciate everybody looking through right now. Emma Favela, ¿cómo estamos, Emma? Young daughter of Marcos Favela in Las Vegas. Marcos, you had a kid, bro? Congratulations, man. You're having her watch boxing on Sunday night. There you go. Good memories there. We're in the fourth round. It's only scheduled for 6. Nate Weston drops Richard Brewart in the first. Brewart trying to climb back into this fight. Good body work from Nate Weston. DeAndre Hendricks. Come on, man. Weston moving around like that defensive back that he once was.
No, Weston's a twitchy, fast, reflexive athlete. He just kind of like, as this fight's going on, his work rate has subsided, but he's still doing a good job of laying traps and all of them exploding with the right hand. Right, and again, you see him again. Brewart needs to be very careful. One thing, Weston is waiting for him to get inside that mid-range, right to that hit zone where he can land that quick right hand over the top.
All right, so the volume has dropped for Weston. He's moving more, but he's still dangerous. He's still dangerous in spots.
Julian is Julius. I always call him Julianis, but he does a great job. XZ Hubbard. And there you go. You get your tweets. It'll get you up there. Our social media team, Being Kite, will hook you guys up. And he's twitchy. He just keeps on moving. That's a... Hear that shot from Brewart. Paco Perez, what's happening? Brewer with some blood from his nose. Good left hook, but Weston moves. Yeah, that counter from Weston. And as always, if you want to look to go into a fight, this isn't a paid ad. I'm just saying it. If you're going to Miami for Canelo, if you're going to Dallas for Chocolatito, if wherever you may be, hit up our good friend Jim Boone.
KO
tickets.
Yep.
It's not. It's just he will get you what you need.
He will hook you up.
And he is the guy. Tell him that Thompson Boxing sent you. Jim is just a great guy. I don't even know if he's in Wisconsin or Vegas, wherever he may be right now. But KO tickets, a fight fan's friend. I don't even know if he's watching right now, but we appreciate you. Everybody else that's watching right now for Alex Campanovo, California, Joe Pahar, everybody that's helping us out. It takes you would think it takes a village, but it's like 5 people really doing this.
Right.
Jeanette Gonzalez on charge of everything for here for Thompson Boxing. The commission helping us out. Getting our tests back in time. It's really, really hard, and it looks easy. And all we're doing is talking. Thank you to everybody involved behind the scenes, and of course, Mr. Ken Thompson. Fifth round, how do you have it, Steve?
39-36 Weston. I thought the 4th round was close, but I didn't think he landed the cleaner shots. I think at this time, if you're Henry Ramirez, you're hoping to have this be an 8-rounder. Time is running out a bit here for Richard Brewart.
Yeah, I think Brewart needs to have a big round 5 and a big round 6 to clinch this. I did score round 4 for Brewart, so I have it 38-37 for Weston.
Kimberly Salazar says, Black Widow investigations for Team Brewart. Woo. Yeah, this is one where you kind of wish it was 8 rounds. Yeah. Contract number 6. Push down, push down. Anthony Garcia, Team Iconic, checking in. This is what we keep talking about, Steve, the development of a young fighter.
You almost wonder, not to second guess anybody, but was Nate Weston a little bit too tricky in terms of where Brewer was in terms of his own career? I mean, where he's coming off a fight, Doug, and we called it where you hit the canvas. Right.
In Weston, I was looking up, trying to find fights of him, and found a couple of them on YouTube, and some in his amateur days, and of course an Ellie Sekbuk video reporting. But he was not much out there for you to look at.
Right.
So, and the fact that he started boxing at the age of 22, that he had a lot of street fights as a kid, but he was a professional athlete, Division I. Really started boxing at 22, getting going. So his development, maybe in the first 5 fights, were on-the-job training essentially. No amateur fights.
Can't teach speed and quickness, and that's one thing Weston has, and he's pretty good fundamentally. Technical standpoint, he has a good grasp of what he's doing, good ring IQ.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have any amateur background.
Yeah. He had a
like
few in Alabama, but he said he wasn't much out there.
No, but I would think he'd had 30 or 40 amateur bouts, just given his foundation and as comfortable as he is in the ring. But he was a man. He was mature when he made the choice to devote himself to professional boxing, and obviously he's taken this career very seriously.
Yeah, he told me when he went into the gym for the first time in LA, he's like, I just want something to do, work out here. They put him in the spar. Like, what's your background? You're actually hanging with some of these guys. Let's get you locked in. He's actually at Leo Santa Cruz's gym. Who's next in La Puente? So Leo goes in the morning, Weston's at night. And we head to the 6th. Ruckus Sports says Tom Loeffler likes Nate. All right, Ruckus, if he likes him, I'll come in and sign him. Come on, Ruckus. Love you. Appreciate you, man. Good job. Curtis Hobson said he was born with them hands. Ozzy Vargas, Coney Island in the house.
Oh.
Coney Island.
What's up, Stefan Marbury? No, I'm not thinking. No. Was it Coney Island? No. Sebastian Telfair.
Yes, and Jesus Shuttlesworth. Had to pull that one out,
Cynthia Conte, didn't Nate fight on one of the Hollywood Fight Nights?
I think he did.
Yes.
He did. He was a draw.
He was held to a draw. Correct.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia Conte.
And right now, guys, going into the last 3 minutes, my highly official scorecard, I have it 49-45, Mr. 100.
What's a highly official card now? Okay. we've upgraded. Thanks everybody watching us. It's a Sunday night. You're probably meal prepping for the week, just like Steve Kim does.
No, I just go to Raphael's.
Or if you're meal prepping, or if you're having a big sushi like The Rock does, whatever it is you're doing, appreciate you joining us in the 6th and final round of the main event. Brewer's down on both cards here ringside. Needs to step it up. He went down in the first. He gets hit with the left hook again.
What's impressive about Weston is you see a lot of athletes that try to box, and they use that athleticism in a very jittery, nervous way. Weston has a real calm demeanor in the ring. He's got real good eyes. You can see him focused on everything. And for most of the night, Brewart simply hasn't been allowed to really get on track with that right hand, and he uses his reflexes very well in terms of counterpunching with that backhand.
And the only power punch that Brewart is landing with any regularity is the right to the body, but he doesn't follow up.
There's a right to the body, did not follow up. On cue. It has not looked like the Richard Brewer we've seen in the past. A step up in competition.
Yeah, well, that has a lot to do with it. Your dance partner is going to really dictate how good or bad you look. He hasn't looked terrible, but again, I don't think he's ever faced that. Never had that ability where the guy facing him could catch and counter right back.
Right.
He's also, Doug, has never faced anybody who moves as much as him.
Right.
We've worked a bunch of his fights.
Yeah. He's in with a difficult style. And, maybe it was a step too far. I mean, his last fight was against an unbeaten fighter who was awkward and heavy-handed. And the heavy-handedness showed itself in the opening round, so he was challenged there and he overcame it. Tonight, it's more of a cerebral challenge, but Weston is not only a difficult stylist. There's some mustard on those punches.
Yep.
Particularly that short right. And so he's had to pick himself up off the canvas again and get back into a fight. But this one looks like it's going the distance.
I like Nate Weston. It's the first time seeing him. The development of a young fighter as you move on.
Weston has 8 fights, only 3 stoppages. And look, he's not Julian Jackson, but when you get hit fast and clean with punches you don't necessarily see, that will dissuade you. It really will. And you can see with Brewer. Brewer has landed his share of right hands, but something came right back at him.
Every time.
So he was never able to really have a sustained, consistent attack.
Final seconds of the fight. Nate Weston dropped Richard Brewart in the first. Looked like he controlled the rest of the way. We'll go to the judges' scorecards. There's only 6 in the main event. Roques, Nate habla español. Dude, where have you been, bro? This is why you got to check in at 321 Boxing earlier. I said that his wife is from Michoacan. I shouted out Maria. I said his corner speaking to him in Spanish. Nate Weston habla español. He even has the Mexican flag on his Instagram bio, on his Twitter. Roques, come on, bro. You don't think I do my research, man? Yeah, no, Roques, I already had my first beer, bro. I appreciate you. No, Roques, thank you very much. Appreciate you sharing the 321 Boxing, and you're a big guy in the sport, so I appreciate you. Hopefully we see you soon. Henry Ramirez doesn't look too happy, huh, Steve?
No, look, I think he's a realist. This was not an easy night, and I think that man right there, he kept it 100. A very solid performance right from the beginning, explosive beginning. Never truly let Brewart get into a groove or into this fight, and I thought he also won the 6th round. My unofficial card has it 59-54, Nate Weston.
And we'll come back with the official card here on Thompson Boxing.
Discover the advantages of the Henry Fortifiber 123 moisture control system. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Choose the weather barrier, add the flashing, then finish up with the Henry Moist Top Sealant. Done. No guessing, no gambling. Just the winning confidence you get from our compatible systems.
Experience the world's largest compatible cordless system. Makita's LXT batteries take you from power tools to outdoor power equipment. The blower delivers power comparable to a 24cc gas model. From the job site to your home, reach speeds of 116 miles per hour. Use Makita's cordless products anytime, anywhere. One system, endless possibilities. Now get 2 extra free batteries.
After going all 6 rounds here at the Omega Products International Event Center, we consult the official scorecard to determine a winner. Judge Barragan scores it 58-55 in favor of Brewer. Judge DeLuca 57-56 in favor of Weston. And Judge Sandoval scores it 58-55 in favor of the winner by way of split decision, Richard Breeze Brewer.
Go ahead, Steve.
I'll have to respectfully disagree. I don't see how that young man, who we've seen often and probably going to see again, won that fight. Most of this bout, in my view, was controlled by the speed and quickness and the tactical superiority of Nate Weston. I don't know what to really say. We don't see a lot of bad decisions on this club show. I feel really bad for Nate Weston. I thought he won that fight fairly easily. He's looking over at us. Nate, all we could say is we're not judges.
Right. I agree with you, Steve. I think a draw would have been a poor decision, to be quite honest. And I had it more competitive than you. I had it 4 rounds to 2 for Weston. But with that knockdown, I mean, we're not even talking about the knockdown. I mean,
So if you make
that should be the clincher.
If it's 3-3, the
he
knockdown
still should have won.
sways it for 100.
Exactly. Yeah, he still should have won, even if there was a,
So we see your comments here on Facebook, and through full transparency, we are paid by Thompson. Richard Brewer is a Thompson fighter. Doug and Steve both had Weston winning. So before you even start with all this is the honesty. I did not keep
58-55 Weston.
Yeah, I don't keep score. I thought Nate Weston won.
Sure.
So all 3 of us here at ringside, but the judges had a different
Speaking
way.
of the judges, this is funny. A couple minutes ago, Andy Foster, the head of this commission, hey, Steve, I am watching in El Dorado Hills. Good bouts. Andy, what happened? Just saying. I know. You're not working. Just saying.
No, and it happens in boxing. You'll see it, and the judges have different angles from where we're sitting at also. But
the only thing I can say is the judges did not like Weston's tactics. They didn't like in their view he was moving too much and not letting his hands go enough. But the thing is, in doing that, he was limiting the punches that Brewer could land. Brewer wasn't landing enough to take those rounds.
Right, but with that said, when you're a judge, you have to be different than a fan. You don't have to like the style.
Right.
You have to judge the effectiveness. And I thought it was clear that the more effective boxer was Nathan Weston.
And some of the comments from people on Facebook before we went to the decision was that Weston was running too much. That just from some of the views on fans.
And that's okay for a fan to say. But for judging, it comes down to who's landing the punches, who's landing the more effective punches.
And we will be speaking with both fighters. Jessica Rosales will interview Richard Brewart and Nate Weston. Don't go anywhere. Let's go over to Jessica Rosales at the interview table.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys. Joining us now, we've got Nate Weston here, and of course I can tell you can't stand still right now. Obviously unhappy with the decision. Tell us about that and how you felt when you heard those cards announced.
I mean, this is the reason right here why fighters fight scared. This is why undefeated fighters don't want to face each other, because bull crap like that. I knocked him down and I outboxed him for 6 straight rounds. But you know, it is what it is. I knew that was going to be a risk coming into this fight. I gave it all in camp. I ain't no crybaby, and that's why they say in this sport, don't leave it to the judges.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that I do got to note is obviously, you know, there was fans, even our announcers said that they saw this fight, you know, going more your way. When something like this happens, how do you step back into the ring and get back on track?
It's very difficult. Honestly, I'm gonna sit down and talk to my family about it, because I put a lot into this to be taken away from me like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but to answer your question, if a champion wants to be a champion, if a person wants to do something, they're going to do it. So it's not hard. If you want to get back and do something, that's for anybody in the world. If you fail at anything, get back in there. You know what I'm saying? If that's something that you really want, go ahead and do it.
All right, and you want to give a quick shout out to that family?
Yes, I want to give a shout out to multiple people. First, my boy George. I know you watching. Your pops died from COVID. I'm hurting with you, but you know I love you. I also want to say rest in peace to Cynthia Saldana, beautiful angel. She died from COVID as well. I want to say rest in peace to my brothers Jamal and Joseph. And I want to give a shout out to the city of Atlanta, my Uncle Clarence Jr., my dad, my mom, my brother Kurt, my sister Bungie, Deja, the whole city, you know what I'm saying? What can I say? Saludos, mi vijones. Gracias por su apoyo. Gracias por su... gracias por todo. I mean, I'm just lost for words right now. Right. Los quiero mucho. And all I got to say is, Maria, Sapphire, I love you guys. I'll be home soon.
All right, Nate, thank you so much for the time. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again soon. Go ahead and take these stairs down. And then joining us in just a bit, we have tonight's winner, of course, Richard Brewart, coming up here with us. He'll be giving his shout-outs as well. What's up?
What's going on?
All right, Richard Brewart winning tonight by split decision. First off, let's talk about that and that win. Do you feel that you did enough to win this fight?
Yeah, definitely. It was a close fight, but he caught me with the flash knockdown in the first round. It was kind of, he threw a right hand, but then he threw a hook, caught me in the back of the head. But otherwise, I thought I controlled every round. Maybe one round in there that was a little close, but I thought I controlled every round after that. I didn't see what he would have done to win.
All right, and this is now 2 fights in a row that you've been knocked down in the first round. Obviously, a different game plan in this fight when you came back in the second. You were a bit more calm, a bit more relaxed than you were in your last fight. Talk about that, and you know, what did your corner say to you?
Yeah, it was just a flash, so I was never hurt. When I came back to the corner, they knew I wasn't hurt because they saw the way I got up. As soon as I got up, I started controlling them back again with the jab. I was controlling that first round besides the knockdown. That was it. But otherwise, I stayed behind the jab. I was jabbing in the body, jabbing in the head, and that's what kept them at bay, kept me in control the whole time.
So what would you say was the best punch for you tonight?
My jab. My jab was everything. I was looking for the right hand, but he probably knew I was going to be throwing it, so he was probably working when he was in camps to get away from me because he knows that's my money punch. But my jab kept me at bay the whole time. Sometimes I threw some lead left hooks that caught him, but if it wasn't for my jab, that was just the main punch that I used tonight.
Yeah, and he had a bit of a different style that you were used to seeing. So what would you say gave you the hardest time from there in the ring, and at what point did you kind of figure him out?
It wasn't really. He didn't really give me. I didn't feel too much of a problem. It was just a really chess match type of fight. Both of us were thinking. But if it wasn't for my jab, I probably wouldn't have done as well as I did. I stayed behind the jab. I was patient. Sometimes he caught me coming in because I was getting a little greedy because I was getting impatient. I was like, man, when is the fight going to start? But otherwise, I didn't see anything that was a threat, really.
All right, and of course, you ended 3-2 Unboxing for us in 2020, starting it for us in 2021. So, Richard, what is next for you?
Hopefully, back in 2-3 months. I'm always in the gym. I don't party. I don't drink. I don't do nothing. So, I'm ready whenever they call me. I stay training, so just ready to go.
Yeah, and we give you some time to give some love to the fans, so this is your moment. Take that mic, and what do you want to say to them?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors, AB Alvarez from 3 Foot Radius, Prep Life Meal Company. They take care of me a lot. Another friend of mine, Dom, Ernie from Everlast, always taking care of me. A big thank you to Alex and Mr. Thompson for making sure, putting me on, always taking care of me. And a big shout out to my family, my mom, my dad, my sister. I love you guys. Thank you for everything you do. We're only going up from here.
All right. Thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the win tonight. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you.
Back here ringside, thank you, Jessica, for getting both fighters' perspectives. Obviously, a different side from Nate Weston compared to Richard Brewart. Doug, we've seen a lot of different decisions, and obviously this is going to be one of them. But we heard in the beginning Weston say this is why guys don't want to fight other undefeated guys.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. And you know, in this era, that undefeated record is so important. You know, as far as doors opening for you.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you lose once, yeah, you can bounce back from it. If you have 2 losses, people already brand you an opponent, and you get treated like an opponent. And unfortunately, Weston got treated like an opponent with an unbeaten record by the judges here.
And Steve, when you look at it, though, we saw Weston give us some rounds, and I want to see this guy again.
No, he's pretty solid. You know, people said he ran. I'll be honest. Look, was he Julian Jackson in there, or was he Arturo Gatti? No, but I didn't see Derek Smoke Gaynor either. I saw a guy that was very crafty, very quick, knew how to use his athleticism and turned it into real boxing. And look, at his age, he's 28.
Right.
He began boxing at 22. His options are relatively limited, and this is where it's going to be the catch-22. He's pretty solid. In fact, he's pretty solid, and I think really good. In fact, he's got a bit of a ceiling. So at that record, though, I'm not so sure how many matchmakers and managers are going to raise their hand and say, yeah, we want to face that guy. So that's what's so unfortunate about tonight. Again, I'll stick by what I said. I think Mr. Weston clearly won this fight tonight.
Yep, and next one you'll for here on 321 Boxing will be April 18th, a main event to be announced shortly. And if you're watching this for the first time, like our friend Oscar said in Coney Island, that when he gets fighting again, April 18th, follow the Thompson Boxing social media accounts. They'll have all accounts for you. Thank you so much for participating with us, interacting with us. And I don't know where else you're going to get it, where you're going to say, hey, you guys are wrong, and we're going to tell you, no, you're wrong. So we're actually, or we agree together. Ring Magazine editor-in-chief Doug Fisher, make sure you follow him. Steve Kim, make sure you listen to his podcast, The 3 Knockdown Rule, and just follow them on social media. This is where the best boxing coverage is coming for you. So for everybody involved, starting with Mr. Ken Thompson, Alex Campanovo, everybody behind the scenes, the crew, the camera, the operators, people who do the COVID, Jeanette Gonzalez, and for my partners, Steve Kim, Doug Fisher, and Jessica Rosales, I'm Beth the Ram saying thanks for watching. We'll see you April 18th on 321 Boxing.